23 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Earlier this morning, when we were going through the rundown of this morning's guests, I kind of teased you by saying to you I was going to show you something on the radio. For those who've listened to Robin and I for a very long time, I did a prank a long time ago where I kind of teased everybody that I was going to show them something on their radio. Radio, of course, is an audio medium and not a visual medium, so how could I show you anything? And what I did, that it was a nighttime gig. I had a nighttime shift, I should say, and I said, look out the window and there's a beautiful moon out there. So I was showing the audience the moon. Big deal. I really am going to show you something right now, and it won't be the moon and it won't be the sun, and it'll be in your mind, in your mind's eye. You will see what I'm about to play, and then we're going to talk about it. I have a little clip here from the audio theater of Heirloom Audio. This is called With Lee in Virginia, The Extraordinary Adventures of G.A. Henty. And when you hear this, when you hear what I'm about to play, you will see what this is. Here it goes. Watch. I bet you will see this. Here we go.
Does this river ever end, sir? I never knew it was so long.
I'd hoped to catch a breeze, so we could have used the sail, but there's been no wind at all. At this rate... Wait! Tony, look! There it is! The ocean!
No more rowing?
We'll find a place to put ashore for the night. In the morning, we'll make our way out to sea. The ship will meet us around noontime. Uh-oh.
What's wrong?
We've been spotted. See those two men on shore waving at us?
Oh, no!
Hey, you two, in the boat!
Master, we've been caught. The men have rifles.
Tony, wait!
They're gonna shoot!
Tony, don't! Jump.
What's wrong with him? We just want to know if you had any luck fishing over there.
Master!
Tony!
Help!
I got you, Tony! I got you! Come on now, come on! And look! Those men on shore. They're carrying fishing rods, not rifles.
Oh.
Hey, what's going on? Why'd he jump in?
We lost our bait!
Yeah, can't let that worm get away.
Tony, can you even swim?
No, sir.
Well, someday you'll have to tell me why you think it's better to drown than be shot.
All right, I have a feeling that you want to know you want to hear the rest of that story. How awesome is that? Bill Heid is on the phone. He is the founder of Heirloom Audio, and they make productions just like the one you just heard. When I had an invitation the other day to schedule this interview, it didn't take me but a second to know that I wanted to have this on the air. The 150th anniversary of the Civil War, I guess, is right now, right? Mm-hmm. With Lee in Virginia is the name of the audio that I was just playing for you. There are lots more from Heirloom Audio. Bill Heid, good morning, Bill.
Well, hey, good morning. Great to be with you guys. Great to be on your show.
I hope it wasn't rude of me to play all of that before saying hi to you, but I just thought that's the best way to start this interview is to play a piece. And I was listening to this, and when it got to that part of the story, I mean, I could see it in my brain. I could see the falling in the water, and anyway, it's just a wonderful piece.
Well, thanks. I think one of the things everybody talks about kids today and talks about just sometimes what's going on. It's almost like you can put your hand in front of somebody's eyes, a kid's eyes, and just, hey, what are you thinking about? What are you staring about? And I think one of the dangers of society today is just this constant visual. It's a constant stream of visual imagery, and what it does is shut down a child or an adult's imagination. I think it's particularly dangerous during the developmental years, but if you picture that scene, or any scene, really, the one that we just heard, and your brain has to kind of process that story. That's what makes us fully human. That's what makes us who we are, again, as human beings. And so to let somebody like a Spielberg or somebody that does their job well tell us the story, so that we don't have to really do anything creative with respect to just how the imagination functions. really is a shutdown mechanism. And I'll watch a movie once in a while, but I love to read and I love to listen.
Right. And you know, there are a couple of things I wanted to tell you after having listened to that. First of all, the audience wouldn't know just by listening to it that the two young men being portrayed in that were in the boat. You'd have to listen to it to know the whole story. But one of them was a white kid and one of them was a black kid. And during the Civil War, it was, and they were heading to another boat to take them up to Nova Scotia, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so it was important to understand why they were scared that somebody had rifles, and that was why. So just you know, the other thing that I thought it was more about the production of this than the story. The names of the actors are familiar to me. I'm not big on knowing names, but these names look familiar. But what it really said to me was, when you're listening to an audio play, the level of fame of an actor isn't really all that important. But what it does say is that these guys became famous because they have a skill, and their acting skill really does show in an audio-only production.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you would say that. One of the things that we find that actors do like, especially accomplished actors, is to be able to go into the studio and try to further their career and try to get creative in a format that doesn't allow them to use facial expressions. Though they do in the studio. If you look at some of our trailers, you see that.
I bet.
But you're basically just there, and all you have is your voice, and so it really is a great challenge. And it for a lot of actors and actresses, it's a lot of fun for them to get in the studio and then think, okay, how can I communicate this message? I've got nothing, no movement, nothing that I can do that's going to show up, you know, and I have to just use my voice.
Is there a director involved in these productions? It's got to be, right?
Oh yeah. We have directors and to see people in the studio, and if you go to withleeandvirginia.com and look at the trailer, you'll see just how much of action there is when in those scenes where we have guys swimming. Sometimes, you know, don't think poorly of us, but sometimes we're pouring water in their mouth and they're spitting it out.
Oh,
and
really?
They are in this, and in the studio. And this is like old-time studio or old-time radio, really. And when they're swimming, don't think that they're just pretending to swim. For example, or if they're in the water, they're dog paddling or whatever. You know, just to try to communicate that idea and do it in a profound way. So it's worth watching the actors because people fall down, they get up, they pretend, they use their arms, and they gesticulate. And all of those things just to get the point across.
Why did you decide to do this as an audio project only and didn't do it as a film and then extract the audio and make it into audio theater?
Yeah, that's a great question, too. I think one of the things is just budget. Because I'm not Steven Spielberg, I raided my own retirement fund to take these projects on. And so I'm looking at producing these for, you know, a couple $100,000 rather than millions of dollars. And so I've got that degree of control. Second, I think as long as we're handing out compliments and talking about people like Spielberg, we have a lot of great movies today. There are a lot of movies that's already been done. I like a genre, again, where it doesn't shut the imagination down. So part of this, for me, is a project that just creates this theater of the mind concept where Glenn Beck said about this, he said it's old-time radio done really, really well. And I appreciate the fact that he said that because this isn't new conceptually. What's new is the technology that we have now with respect to doing our sound design and Foley. And so we try to make it the best production that we can, but we love audio. We love what audio does for families. And just not having that visual piece in front of you, it's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. How long is With Lee in Virginia? How long of a piece is this?
A couple hours.
Couple hours. Do you know, I'm trying to think, because I know I would like this in the car. But I'm trying to think if I would play this at home and like maybe as I was doing household chores or something like that. I don't know. I you know, I would like to believe. I'd like to believe that I could sit down and listen to it, but I don't think I could, except for in a car.
I think that's the case for other people. But one of the things that, like, I'll give you an example. Glenn Beck, when he first started listening to these, he was telling me him and his son Rafe were listening to Under Drake's Flag, our first one. And he just wanted to sit down and listen to it with with his son, just the two of them, and make it a 20-minute session. We break these into smaller sessions, and he wanted to be able to talk to him about it. Well, at some point during the middle of that, Ray said, stop the player, Dad. And Glenn said, what? He said, I'm going to go get a picture. I want to draw a picture of Francis Drake because I want you to know what he looks like. Well, when I heard him say that to me,
wow.
It was like bingo, because I didn't want somebody else telling Glenn's son what Drake looked like. I wanted him to let his creative imagination flow, and he actually stopped his dad and said, stop. And here's what he looked like. Now that we know what he looks like, Dad, let's press play again, and let's continue to listen. So I felt like I'd hit a home run, and I didn't, coach him to say, he just said that out of the blue to me, and I felt like, really, this is exactly what I want to do. So you can listen at home as a kind of a concentrated thing where you make this something that you want to study. Like the Civil War is full of all kinds of little nooks and crannies that needs to be discussed. I think, as you know, what happened this last summer, it's still a hot-button issue. There's still racial implications to it. There's still states' rights implications to it. There's still what really happened kind of issues.
Oh yeah, and in our own community, we've had this whole rebel flag thing going on, and Confederate soldier statues and things like that. One of the names of one of the actors is another guest of ours. Jim Meskimen is on the list of actors here.
Yes, Jim was great. We had a lot of great folks in Hollywood when we did this. This is the first one that we didn't do. The first two we did were done in England and London at the famous Sound.
Did you write this?
Theater.
Is this Did you write it, Bill?
Did I write it? Here's what's fun about this when you talk about the Civil War. This is an adaptation from a book by a gentleman named G.A. Henty. Now, Henty was a Victorian writer that wrote over 120 children's books. And really what was a child then is probably maybe a little different than a child today, maturity-wise. So, I mean, these were written for 12-year-old kids, but the storyline's kind of an adult story.
Okay.
And it's a story of adventure. What made this really cool, though, guys, is Henty came to this country as an Englishman after the Civil War because he wanted to know why 600,000 plus people died for something ostensibly slavery, something that was outlawed by the likes of Wilberforce and other Christians there. And so he came here to get the facts on it. And what's cool is he didn't have a dog in the hunt. Unlike a lot of this guys from the North, he writes the way the victory dance, the end zone dance looks like, or this guy in the South, he's still mad about it, and so he writes a history piece on that. What I found so refreshing about Henty is he didn't really have a side, and he just came and did some investigation and found out, there's some really remarkable human interest stories. There's motifs of redemption and forgiveness. There's heroism, courage. It's not all about let's reduce the Civil War to something about race. And I found that really refreshing and interesting and fun. And I think the story really is one that has a sense of objectivity to it.
And did you do any kind of research on some of the facts in the story to make sure that they were accurate before you put your production together?
Oh, without a doubt. We like to dig deep and find out just a little bit about the characters. And so we like to do Christian characters, and one of the things that we think is pretty cheesy is when someone tries to force a belief system on somebody or take it off of somebody where it's not. And so we went through all of Lee's letters, for example, and I don't know, I think where everybody reads about 20 books before we biographies and so forth before we put something together. So we like to think that we dig pretty deep to try to get the right story. That said, we use fiction to try to, as a vehicle to actually tell that story.
Bill Heid is our guest. Bill, we have to take a little break, but we'll be right back. The audio production we're talking about is called With Lee in Virginia, but there are others. I want to make sure we squeeze some of the others in as well. The 150th anniversary of the Civil War is officially when is it exactly?
Well, it's this year.
Just this whole year, okay. So we'll take a little break and we'll be right back with Bill Heid.
So whether it's is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Mix of sun and clouds today with a shower thunderstorm in the afternoon. High of 86 to 88, and it's still a shower thunderstorm in the area tonight. Low 70 to 76. Partly sunny, a thunderstorm or two tomorrow with a high of 86 to 88. Couple thunderstorms in the area Wednesday, along with some sunshine and a high of 84 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
Are you in need of custom screen printing, embroidery, or promotional items? Then look no further and come visit the brand new Legacy Team Sales. LTS is conveniently located off 17th Street next to Armstrong Homes in beautiful Ocala. We offer the best prices and highest quality products for your company, team, school, or nonprofit. Whether looking for screen printed shirts, embroidered polos, or travel team uniforms, you'll be sure to find it at Legacy Team Sales. Come visit our new 27,000 square foot facility. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will assist you in every part of your custom purchase. LTS carries the hottest brands in the industry like Under Armour, Russell, Mizuno, Asics, Badger Sports, Gildan, Pacific, Ogio, and many more. At LTS, screen printing embroidery is done in-house and we guarantee customer satisfaction. Stop by, give us a call, or check us out on the web at shoplts.com. Remember the name, LTS.
We're saving thousands with Robert Palmer.
So rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around. If you're trying to get a mortgage, if you're trying to get the best credit card, if you're looking at student loans, cell phone bills, you name it, rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around.
That's rule number one, just one more vital part of fighting back to stop being a financial zombie. Yes, you can take the mystery out of the complicated world of finances. Take charge when it comes to your money. Listen in on The Source, 96.3 FM and 1370 AM, Saturdays at 12:05.
All right, 7 minutes now before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. If you were listening earlier, I won't play it again, but I played a piece of the audio play that we were talking about called With Lee in Virginia. That piece was, I'll give you a synopsis of it. It's two young boys. I think they're 15 years old. One is a black boy, one is a white boy. Mm-hmm. And I think the white kid has arranged, I think he's paid some money to a boat guy to take him up to Nova Scotia where he can be free because his black friend is a slave and wants to get out of there, wherever there is, someplace here in the South. And at this point, I guess they're in a canoe or something trying to get to the open water of the ocean, and they see some guys on the shore. They think they're with rifles. It turns out they're only with fishing rods, and no big deal. But it was kind of a funny thing, especially at the end where he says, can you even swim?
Yeah, I know.
Swim. It is a fun thing to listen to, and I just love the way it's produced. I have a caller. Are you okay with taking listeners' calls?
Oh, not at all.
All right, let's go to the phone. Thank you for calling in, for waiting. I know you've been waiting for a while. Good morning. You're on the air with Bill Heid.
Yes, good morning. Yes, it brings back memories of the 1980s when E.G. Marshall and Hyman Brown did Mystery Theater on CBS, and Dawes Butler and Art Gilmore was doing the same thing on Mutual. That was an interesting time.
Is that right?
And I'll ring off.
All right, thank you for that. Well, we've done our share of audio productions as well. Robert and I did children's audio for a long time, and it's not an easy job. I mean, you're working all day on that on a half-hour show.
Well, in this case for us, it's we're in the studio for a good week, and then it's months of sound design and Foley. So we've got a lot in it, and it's funny that the caller had mentioned that earlier when I grew up, and this would have been in the 60s. I was born in 58. In the 60s, my dad was a photographer, and so I can remember being in the basement in the darkroom of our house. He had turned into a darkroom, and we were always listening to, guess what, The Shadow, right, or Lone Ranger or whatever.
Right.
And, guys, this was an era, just to fall back again, this is an era where what had to win the day was really, really good writing. The sound effects were so-so, but you were always on the edge of your seat because someone thought these things through, and there was such great writing. Something, again, that's missing in a lot of movies because they make it up with CGI and so forth.
Right.
You watch these Marvel movies today, they're all the same. It's always an explosion, and someone's just almost runs into this, or they run into that, and someone throws somebody back harder than they were thrown.
Right,
and it's just
right.
an endless 2.5 hours of that. Well, I mean,
Right.
you know, on one hand you say, wow, that's great, that's really interesting, but at some point you start looking at your watch, your phone, and wondering when this is over. I personally would rather listen to The Shadow than just see the barrage of all of the same old thing over and over again. So there's been periods in time, you know, where people have kind of gone back a little bit and done some interesting things with radio, and I think it's time for that again.
And I think the difference, at least between some forms and other forms, is that some are purely entertainment, and that's okay. But this is not just entertainment. I mean, you're actually telling history, so it serves a double purpose.
Oh, yeah, I think there's a moral to this story, and I think one of the deals is during wartime, when our characters are stretched thin, and the temptation to take a shortcut here or there is there in a very profound way. I think men and women really get measured during that time, and so I love characters who maintain their integrity when everything looks like it's going against them. And those are the true heroes that I think our kids should have today. We should be looking backwards at people that have been in our past that are maybe saying, look, this person held fast throughout all kinds of crazy stuff. We think we've got problems today, but I mean, I'd mentioned one other time, you know, William Wallace, for example, he was asked when it was at the very end, you know, in the last request, he said, yeah, I want to be reading my Psalter when you pull me apart in 4 pieces. They had a horse attached to each limb, and they were going to, you know, so, and I always say to listeners, when's the last time you were pulled apart in 4 pieces? It's been a while, right? You probably, these people we need to study. These people we need to really kind of look at their lives and say, that's a remarkable thing for someone to have courage, character, integrity, duty to keep your word, even when it would just be a lot easier to not keep your word.
And you must have specific actors in mind for the certain roles, because Sean Astin is incredible. I mean, he played the underdog in Rudy. He played the helpful friend, the one that kept everybody sane in The Lord of the Rings, and they really have run the gamut.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Sean is I didn't realize he had a history degree. So when we got him in the studio, we realized he not only was interested in the part, but that he knew a lot about the part. Wow. So to get someone like him in the studio and be able to have a great conversation about the history, the facts, and maybe some of the little-known facts was just a lot of fun.
Well, I love what you're doing. We've got 20 seconds. Let's just tell the audience, go to withleeinvirginia.com. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to us. We've got a double CD to give away. Call me, 622-9622. Bill Heid, thank you for being on the air with us today. That was fun.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Sorry for the abrupt ending. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis back at work. She spent most of last week in jail for refusing to issue marriage licenses to gay couples.
I'm just a person who's been transformed by the grace of God and who wants to work, be with my family. I just want to serve my neighbors quietly without violating my conscience.
Davis says she won't keep deputy clerks from issuing the licenses, but she won't do it. Kentucky police say the suspect in the killing of a state trooper was fatally shot when he refused to surrender.
Investigators say Trooper Joseph Cameron Ponder was conducting a traffic stop on I-24 in western Kentucky. That led to a high-speed chase that ended with Johnson Shanks, who's black, apparently stopping abruptly, getting out of his car and opening fire.
Fox Radio's Jeff Manazzo. Authorities say real estate in the Swiss Alps has been seized in the money laundering case involving FIFA, the World Soccer Organization. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Meet Vince. Vince hurt himself mountain biking on Saturday.
Because weekend warrior.
Because noob.
Hey.
Vince is supposed to host an important presentation, but he's not going anywhere in that cast. What should he do?
Rhetorical question.
Vince should try GoToMeeting, the simple way to host meetings online, complete with video conferencing and screen sharing. Send out a meeting link and anyone can join from any computer, tablet, or smartphone. Just takes a click.
Where do I sign up?
Visit GoToMeeting.com to start your free 30-day trial. That's GoToMeeting.com.
Right now at the Home Depot, save 20% when you buy one or more pallets of in-stock GAF shingles. So, let's raise the roof and lower the cost with bulk pricing on top-of-the-line GAF shingles, including Timberline, America's favorite shingle. This is worth shouting from the rooftops. Let's do this. Save 20% on one or more pallets of in-stock GAF shingles at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through September 30th, U.S. only. See store for details.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Darren Spearman reporting. USDA's Ag Statistics Service has issued the new crop estimate for September. They're increasing the amount of peanuts that are going to be produced this year. The now estimate is 3,160,700 tons. That's up 2% from August and up 21% from last year. Based on the acreage, 1.62 million acres, that's also up 1%. And the acreage for the year is up 20%. The average yield now should be about 3,996 pounds per acre nationwide. That's also up 46 pounds per acre from August and 64 pounds per acre above the 2014 crop. In Alabama now, they're saying Alabama will average about 3,600 pounds. That's up 100 pounds from last month, and that will give Alabama 354,600 tons. Florida would average about 3,600 pounds as well. That's down 100 pounds from previous estimate, and that will give Florida 309,600. Georgia jumped from 4,200 to 4,400 pound average yield per acre, and that will give Georgia 1,716,000 tons. On other commodities, corn production is forecast at 13.7 billion bushels. That's down 4% from last year's record. Based on conditions, the average yield 167.5 bushels per acre. That is down 3.5 bushels from last year. This will be the second largest average yield and the third largest production in record in the U.S. Soybean production is forecast at 3.94 billion bushels. That's down 1% from last year. Average yield about 47.1 bushels per acre. All cotton production forecast at 13.1 million 480 pound bales. That's down 18% from last year. Yield will be about 789 pounds per harvested acre, down 6% from last year. I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need
too.
my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Ocala's